So, what if one of the biggest pop anthems of our time was also one of the most brilliant ads ever made? We're about to unpack a story that connects a global superstar to a marketing machine that's been running for almost 100 years. Let's get right into it. You know the line, you absolutely know the dance. Back in 2008, Beyonce's Single Ladies wasn't just a song, it was a full-blown global event. That one little hook became this international catchphrase, right? An ultimatum you could hear on pretty much any dance floor in the world.
But what if this anthem, this symbol of female empowerment, was also something else? What if it was the perfect final piece in a marketing strategy that was decades in the making, all designed to sell one very specific, very sparkly product? Well, that's the big question we're going to dig into.
Okay, so to really get how a song could have so much marketing juice, you first have to understand just how huge its cultural footprint was. I mean, this went way, way beyond just being a hit on the radio. The video's choreography just exploded. It became this instant worldwide craze. All of a sudden, you had toddlers trying to do it, entire high school cheerleading squads, even people at airports filming themselves doing the moves. The song wasn't just heard, it was performed, it was shared, it was parodied on a scale we'd really never seen before. It didn't just join the culture, it kind of became the culture. So, how in the world does this pop anthem connect to a century of marketing? To figure that out, we've got to rewind the clock way before 2008 to see how the so-called tradition of the diamond engagement ring wasn't born, but was actually built from the ground up. And the key idea here is the meme. Now, I don't mean the funny pictures you see online. I'm talking about the original scientific definition, a powerful idea that spreads through a culture, gets imitated over and over until it feels like a totally natural, unquestioned part of life. And as we're about to see, the diamond industry basically became masters of the meme. Okay, picture this. It's the 1930s, and diamonds aren't nearly as popular as they are today. The industry was actually struggling. So the diamond cartel, De Beers, hires an ad agency for a massive job, convince people they need diamonds. By 1947, the strategy was crystal clear. They weren't going to sell the rock, they were going to sell the idea. They used psychology, romance, and the most powerful tool they had, Hollywood, to weave their product right into the fabric of love itself. And look at this. You can see their plan laid out right here. This quote is from their actual strategy document. The goal was to literally change how people thought about getting engaged by having movie stars, the ultimate romantic idols, wear diamonds as a symbol of love that lasts forever. This was no accident. It was a carefully engineered cultural shift. And, well, it worked like a charm. They successfully planted these powerful memes right into our collective brains. The slogan, "A diamond is forever," it wasn't just catchy. It made people not want to resell their diamonds, which kept prices high. The whole idea of spending 2 months' salary, totally invented. And the very notion that a diamond ring is a required step to get married, that was the big prize, and they absolutely won. But then, in the early 2000s, this perfect romantic image they'd built was facing a complete catastrophe. The world was about to learn the dark, violent truth about where some of these beautiful stones were actually coming from. Suddenly, the term blood diamond was everywhere. We learned that these were stones mined in war zones, often in just horrific conditions, with the profits being used to fund brutal, deadly conflicts. The symbol of indestructible love was now linked to unimaginable violence and suffering. The contrast was just jarring. I mean, on one hand, you have the industry's slogan promising this beautiful, eternal romance. And on the other, you have cultural touchstones like Kanye West in his 2005 song rapping, "People lose hands, legs, arms for real." That disconnect became impossible to ignore, especially after the huge 2006 movie Blood Diamond put the issue right in front of millions of people. The diamond industry was in the middle of a PR nightmare that could undo decades of work. So they didn't just play defense, they went on the offense with a very sophisticated new playbook. Their counterattack was, a total masterclass in modern PR. It was this 3-part strategy. First, partner with huge cultural influencers like Russell Simmons, the CEO of hip-hop. Second, rebrand the diamond with a charity angle, launching things like the Diamond Empowerment Fund to connect diamonds with, say, education in Africa. And third, use celebrities at huge events to create a wave of positive press. And this is exactly where Beyonce officially enters our story. In January 2007 at the Golden Globes, an industry marketing group launched this campaign where stars, including Beyonce, wore diamond rings. In return, a donation was made to a charity. And just like that, the link was made. Beyonce, diamonds, and doing good, all wrapped up in one big glamorous photo op.
All right, so with all of that in mind, let's fast forward just a little over a year later to the release of what would become one of the biggest songs of Beyoncé's entire career. The timeline leading up to the song is pretty telling. After that Golden Globes event, Beyoncé becomes the face of a perfume literally called Diamonds. Then she's linked to Russell Simmons' jewelry line. That's the same guy who was spearheading the industry's charity push. And then, at the very end of 2008, boom, Single Ladies drops. And get this, here's another fascinating piece of the puzzle. Two of the song's co-writers didn't just write hit songs. They actually came from the world of advertising, writing jingles for huge brands like Coca-Cola and McDonald's. These guys weren't just artists. They were experts at writing super catchy tunes designed to sell you something. And in the iconic music video itself, while all the dancers are miming "See No Ring" on their left hands, Beyoncé is flashing a huge ring on her right hand. That ring was reportedly her own 18-karat diamond engagement ring from Jay-Z, valued at $5 million, and made by the exact same jeweler who provided the ring for that Raise Your Right Hand charity event. So, what are we supposed to make of all this? I mean, the evidence is pretty interesting, right? But the story isn't quite that simple. Let's look at the central contradiction here. Throughout her career and even inside the Single Ladies song itself, Beyoncé sends these really conflicting messages. The hook obviously demands a ring, but other lyrics in the same song say, "Your love is what I prefer." She wears a multi-million-dollar ring, but she's also famous for singing about buying her own. The message is just consistently ambiguous. And this might be the most confusing part of the whole thing. In an interview from the very same year Single Ladies came out, Beyoncé herself kind of dismissed how important engagement rings are, calling all the emphasis on them just material and silly. So the huge question is, how do we square that statement with the song's incredibly powerful, demanding hook? Was this just a brilliant artist reflecting the cultural ideas that the diamond industry had spent decades building? Or was it a brilliantly executed, maybe even subconscious, marketing move to re-energize those exact same ideas when they needed it most? Honestly, the line between the two is incredibly blurry. And really, this whole story forces us to ask a much bigger question. In a world of influencers and brand deals, where artists are brands and every post can be a promotion, where does culture actually end and marketing begin? The line has never been fuzzier.